Hello everybody and welcome to my version of a beginner's guide for Predator Hunting Ground. Now this is completely my opinion based on my own experiences and what I think is correct for beginners. Now obviously with the new Predator Badlands trailer, we're going to be getting an influx of just new players, especially since this is pretty much the only Predator game on the market, unless you want to go back to maybe 2012 and look at the old games for Alien vs Predator or any of the Alien games. But since this is the only game that is readily available and still keeping up with a few updates and minor DLCs, this is the game that everyone's going to be going to and playing with either friends or alone, even if it does have a few minor issues. Which is why I wanted to make this video so that we can hopefully understand more of what the player base is like and what the game is actually about. And hopefully this video will be helpful towards a few people, even if they do somewhat hate the game. But without further ado, let's just get right into the video. So for tip number one, I have starting off on the Fireteam. Number one will be customization and character design. For most of you, you'll usually either use the default colors, default equipment, weapons, whatever the case. That is always going to be a no. Personally, for me, if I am a Predator and I see someone with a default character, I'm usually going to assume that you're new. Not many people that are actually veterans to the game or experienced, you only ever use default characters. So just a little design helps and makes it go a long way, and you'll probably not get targeted by the Predator as much. But I mean, it's the Predator, so you'll still end up getting targeted either way. But for the most part, if he does see that you are decked out in colors, camos, and even better weapons, he'll more than likely target everybody else first and then save you for last. And the good thing is that with Predator Hunting Grounds, we do have a bit of a customization menu. The only thing that we are pretty much missing is any updates to the masks. We mainly only have like 4 things and a few accessories here and there, like cowboy hats or necklaces, glasses, whatever the case. But when it comes to headgear, there's like 4 selections. So not too much, but at least with the body armor and your weapons, those are a little bit more stylable. But moving on to the second tip for a Fireteam soldier is always run. Everyone stays still and watches as the Predator is mauling them. They never run. There are speed bars, stamina bars for a reason on the character menus, even for the Predator. All of you are able to run away from the Predator as long as he's not leaping every few seconds and landing exactly on you. There are scenes that I even have recorded where you can run away from a Predator and pretty much outrun him. Even if he leaped a few times, you can outrun a Predator. You can run to your team. Your team is where you need to be, which is also going to go to tip number 3 for the Fireteam soldiers, which I listed down as stick together. No one sticks together. And this one actually sticks to another tip also, but no one ever sticks together. I see people running off in twos and little pairs. One person stays behind and just tries to survey the area or does an optional quest by themselves, but you have to stay together. That's the only way to kill a Predator. No one can take on the Predator by himself. The whole point of the whole team thing is to work together. Not one person can do it. You are limited to how many health syringes you can take, how many medkits you can have. You are not him. But like I said, number 3 does go with tip number 4, which is no snipers. As a beginner, okay, you do not need to be running around with a sniper. The only one you have unlocked is the semi-auto sniper at the very beginning. I forgot what it was. I think it's EKG. But you cannot go around with a sniper or use the stealth class. If you're trying to do that, you're basically ruining the whole experience for everybody else because you're not even supposed to be near the team. And an unexperienced player that is not near the team is bound to die. I have seen it so many times where a sniper tries to go into our game, he stays on top of a mountain, and all we see is help, help, help. They're trying to call out because they're dead. So as a beginner, again, do not use a sniper. If you're experienced and know what you're doing with your classes and your perks and just everything, please go right ahead. Show us something. The sniper is the highest damage weapon, even compared to the minigun. Like, go ahead and use it, but use it correctly. So again, no snipers for you beginners unless you know what you're doing. And before we move on, I do want to mention before we get to step number 5 is the soldier or the fire team member is going to be the shortest one, only because I'm doing 5 tips for each. 5 for the soldier and 5 for the predator. The soldier doesn't really have that many, and towards the end I will do honorable mentions for tips for either predator or fire team. So keep that in mind. Now for tip number 5, which most people won't agree with, is sound and visual cues. Now for the most part, this game deals with 2 sides being the hunters, not just the predator and the fire team being the prey. You are both hunters. It is a 4 against 1, even though that one can pretty much brutally maul your whole team. It is still hunter and hunter. There is no hunter and prey. Most people want to make it out like that, but again, for the most part, hunter hunter. The fire team can destroy the predator really fast. And I actually have a clip of this happening, which I will actually pull up right here for you all to see.
Find a terminal nearby and use it to relay your intel.
I put rounds in it!
This clip was super early on into the game. Like, the predator didn't have any chance. Once we saw him, we put every bullet we had into him and made sure he stayed dead. There was, I guess, the time for him to set off his bomb, but other than that, he was gone. There was no survival chance for him. And this is what I mean. He can be hunted in any way, and he'll die. He will die. The one thing that we always have to check for are sounds and visuals, which happen in this clip. You can hear them clicking whenever they're invisible. Which, of course, if a predator is smart, he can use the perk that allows his clicking noises to basically go away. I think the perk is called Disciplined. It makes his clicking go away whenever he's invisible, but there is still visual cues. So that's a few things you have to look out for. If he is cloaked and you hear the clicking, that probably means he's either next to you or around you. That is pretty dangerous, so look around, kind of run away if you have to. If you hear stomping, well then definitely run away. But there still are a few other sound cues that you can listen for besides his little clicking or his foot stomp, which are when he laughs, which is just a taunt, when he roars, which basically means he's healing, or when he has his war cry, which usually happens whenever he is executing somebody. But by far, the hardest cues are visual cues to learn. The easiest one probably is going to be the 3 dots from his shoulder cannon, but you can also see his red eyes whenever he's invisible and probably aiming at you inside the trees. A few other ones obviously being his cloak and his blood. Blood you can trace when it's on top of a building, when it's in a tree. It's always going to be green, it's always going to be ultraviolet. Whatever the case, you'll be able to see it wherever he lands and is bleeding. The harder one is going to be his cloak, because there are a few that make his cloak better, that let him have more energy reserves or even regenerate his energy reserves faster, meaning he's just going to be cloaked the entire game probably. I've seen a few do that the whole time and only shoot their shoulder cannons while they're in the trees. But it is possible to see them just by seeing reflective designs in the tree. If you see something slightly moving in the tree, I just tend to shoot it, because more than likely you're going to hit something. And that's pretty much it for the soldiers on the fire team. Now we'll be moving on to the predator. The predator is a little bit different and will probably be a little bit longer than the fire team soldiers, just because his need a little bit more explaining. We're going to go on to number 1, which is limit close encounters. So for limit close encounters is pretty much the same thing as no snipers for a beginner. As a beginner, you do not want to run in as a predator. into a close encounter with a full fire team that is actually staying together. Because at the end of the day, full fire team, shotguns, you are close inside a building, you're going to get demolished, you're going to get killed, especially if you have a predator with low health, you're going to lose. Almost 100% you will lose. So to be an effective predator, low health or high health, low speed or high speed, it's always going to limit close encounters. Stay in the trees. You don't have to jump in every time just because you have a perk that increases melee damage and a sword or a combi stick. Stay away from a full team. Pick them off one by one, stay in the trees, shoot them off a little to pretty much tip off their health until they are fully dead. Now for tip number 2 on the Predator is day and night. Know what type of map you are going to be on. Both maps have drastically different experiences, especially for a Predator. Survivability for a Predator at night is drastically higher compared to in the daytime, because depending on the skin that you have, whether it's darker or lighter, you can probably survive without a cloak and run away almost all the time from a fire team. Whereas during the daytime, a fire team can see your Predator uncloaked almost anywhere. Unless you are cloaked, that is the only time you will survive during the daytime. Now, I'm not saying to go and quit a game just because it's a daytime map. Daytime maps are fun also, and can even sometimes, depending on the Predator, can help against the fire team, especially if the fire team has no idea what they're doing. So I'm basically saying play all game modes, but be careful and know what map you're going to be playing and pretty much plan for that map. Now moving on to number 3 for Predator tips is know what useful perks and utilities you have. There are a lot of times where no one knows what the perk does. They don't read it, they just think it sounds cool and they put it on. You do not want to go in with melee weapons and have perks for long range. I have done this a few times and it's not fun, where I have used all the perks for range thinking I'm going to be good with a combi stick and I can just throw it. That does not count as a ranged weapon. That is a melee weapon which gets its boost from a perk that does melee damage. Now we can go on to utilities. Utilities are pretty much your backup in everything besides all of the other things that you have, like your wrist blades, your combi stick, your plasma blaster, all those. These utilities are a little bit more important, and my version of this is because we have the healing kit and the net gun. I always use the healing kit and the net gun. I don't really tend to use anything else besides those two, mainly because the net gun will always disarm an enemy. They have to try to get out of it, and it always damages the enemy at the same time. And you can probably even down them in one go, depending on what class they are playing. Now, for the healing kit, I do believe that everybody should be running the healing kit because it just makes playing the Predator a whole lot easier. You don't need to be going around killing pigs or any goats just for health. You can just heal yourself right then and there. It's not too slow. It's a little fast, but you are able to heal off a good amount with just that little syringe. I believe you get 2. Now for tip number 4, know what weapons you are going to be using for any version of your Predator. This kind of goes in with the perks. Know what weapon you're going to match up with the perks. If you're going to have all these perks used for long range, you probably shouldn't be using the combi stick and probably the net gun. Maybe the net gun. I'm not too sure how the stats work for that one, but you shouldn't be using melee weapons or the katana. The katana also counts as one. You should be running with your ranged weapons. If you're at that high of a level, which I doubt since you're going to be a beginner, a bow would probably be good. That is ranged. But for beginners, they have the little disc, the smart disc, and they also have the net gun, which I'm going to assume does deal with ranged damage. The only other one that I know has ranged damage is the plasma gun. And even then, that one only gets 6 shots, and it pretty much sucks. So in my opinion, the best Predator is always a melee Predator because you already have your shoulder cannon and your wrist. So if you're going to stick with a good Predator, I'd suggest melee. Always go melee, put on melee perk. I personally use the combi stick and the net gun. If I need to, I can use the net gun, trap them, go in for a kill, or even throw the combi stick at them. And for the final tip, of course, mobility and cloaking. This is the most common thing that is used for Predators, but usually most beginners just tend to run around and not use the cloak, or I don't know why really. I don't know why they won't use the cloak or jump around. They don't know how to leap for some reason. In my opinion, every predator should be able to just leap and run away the second bullets start flying at them. It is the best thing ever to get out of a firefight, especially if it's one that you don't want to be in at all. Because again, not every predator has to be up and close melee. I fully believe beginners should be in the trees, being evasive, running away from any type of close-up firefight. So please jump, run, use perks to make sure that your cloak doesn't die off and you're pretty much set for the game and safe. But now that we are pretty much done with all of the tips, I think we should go over a few minor things, starting from the beginning. If you are playing and you see a predator on you right as soon as you spawn as a Fireteam member, that is probably because they knew exactly where you're going to spawn, and that's just how the game is now. This game has been out since 2021. There are experienced predators, experienced Fireteam members. Expect things like that to happen. So always mud up and hide, usually from the beginning, or try not to just shoot and make so much noise. I've seen so many Steam reviews talking about how they are killed right away, they don't know how to play, and it's not clear how to play, the game is clunky, how are you even supposed to fight a predator? It just happens. That's just how all games work. That's how Call of Duty Black Ops works, whether it's 6, Warzone, whatever the case. That is how the games work. There's always going to be a tryhard in these games. And I believe you guys just need to get used to it, learn to play. This game may not be beginner friendly in a sense, but it is possible to win even as a beginner. Just stick to most of the steps that I gave and you can pretty much win all the time, or sometimes, depending on how you play with your team. And you know, another thing, always try to use the mud to cover yourself up, stick to water, always stick together. If you see animals, take them out, because the predator can heal off killing pigs, which obviously you don't want. They can only see the pigs if they are alive. If they are dead, all they see is a cold body. They won't even see the body itself. So just keep that in mind, kill the pigs, mud up, and you should be fine for the rest of the game. But I think this is where I will end it. This is the first time doing a guide, so it might be good, it might not. If you guys think it's a good one, let me know down in the comments below. If it's bad, let me know what I could have changed up, or if you have your own opinions on what the tips should have been, also let me know. And if you guys want me to do a different guide on either the Fireteam by itself or the Predator by itself, I'll include gameplay. I think I will start playing the game and posting it up on the channel. I know it's a little bit different from the normal Minecraft videos that I've been doing, but it is something I've been really interested in, especially for years I've been interested in it, but since Predator Badlands is coming out, I might as well get back into it, because I'm pretty sure they will have a few updates introducing the new Predator into the game, and I think that would be cool. So if you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.